Hi guys, this is Supriya and I'm back again with another video on Core Java series, and today we will be learning about return types in Core Java. So I'll explain you what are return types in Core Java with the help of the example. Okay, so return types are the keywords. So return types can either be any of these primitive types and void. So if you see the primitive types from 1 to 8, all of these can be the return types. Okay, and this ninth one that you see, void, is also a return type. Now you will say that if there are these numbers, like these keywords from Boolean to void, they are primitive types, then why they are called as return types? So they are called as return types when they are used with the methods. Okay, to create a method, it is very important, or it is mandatory, to use the return type, and the return type can either be a Boolean, byte, or any one of these, or it can be void. Now we will understand how to create a method by using the return types. Okay, so when these primitive types and void, they are used in the method, okay, while describing the method or while declaring the method, that time they are called as the return types, and they are the keywords in Java library. Okay, so let's understand what is the purpose of these return types and why do we need them while creating a method. Okay, so let me just write a small program. I just right click on this package, Java Basics. Okay, so I'm right clicking on this package and I'll create a class, say return type demo. Okay, and I'll select the main method and I'll say finish. Okay, so I have my package Java Basics. Inside the package I have a class return type demo, and this is my main method, and this is the body of my main method from here till here. Okay, so I'll just remove this line. This is a comment. Okay, I'll create one method. Now how to create a method? We use the access modifier, so it can be public, default, protected. Default, if you're using default as the access modifier, then you don't have to write anything. Okay, and that we have seen in our last video of access modifiers. So if you want to learn them again, then you need to watch my video on access modifiers. So while creating a method, we need to specify the access modifier. So I'm using the access modifier as public, and I can use the static keyword. Now I have not told you about the static keyword. I will be covering this topic in the next video. Okay, so for now I'm just telling you that this is the format of writing or creating the method. Okay, this is the syntax, in fact, for creating the method. So you write the access modifier, you write the static keyword, or if this is optional, so depending upon the condition, you can write static, or you can just remove this and this will become non-static. Okay, so currently I'm not using static keyword. After I explain you what is the use of static keyword and what are static keywords, only then I'll start using them. Okay, till then I'll not use them inside the method, and they are optional, but you can use the access modifiers, and it is mandatory to write the return type now. while creating the method. Okay, so let's start with the first return type, int. Okay, and I'll say disp1 as the name of my method. I'll create the method body. See guys, this is how you create the method. Okay, and now it's giving me the error. What it is saying, that if your return type, you have mentioned the return type as int, okay, the method must return a result of type int. So we should add a return statement. Okay, so if I'm writing int here before the method name, then I need to use the return statement. Okay, return keyword. Okay, that means that this method is going to return a value, okay, which is of the int type. So if I'm mentioning the return type in a method, then I have to use the return keyword inside the method. Okay, now I'll be using this return keyword. I'll just write a small piece of code. I'll say int a equals 10, okay, and say int b equals 20. Okay, now I'll say int c equals a plus b. Okay, now I'll say return c. Okay, now see that error has gone because I mentioned the return type int here and I did not use return keyword. It gave me the error and asked me to use the return keyword. Okay, the moment I use the keyword as return and I wanted to return c as the value, the error got removed. Okay, so what this method will be doing, this method will be like, I have declared this variable a and I have initialized this variable a as 10. Okay, and here b is 20, which is of int type, and inside the c variable, my a plus b, the sum of a and b will be stored, and I want this method disp1 to display the value of c. So this will be returning, this method will be returning the value of c, and it will be a single value. So it will be like this method, when it will be called inside the main method, okay, it will store a value of c, okay, and it will display to us on the console. So if we want a method to just give us some information back after it's been executed or after it's been called, if we want the method to return some information, we want some information back, then it will return that and it will save that value inside the method, and when this method is called, that value will be displayed to us. Okay, so let's see how we can call this method, and let's see what will be the output. So inside the main method, now how to call this method. Now in the last session I told you how to create the object, and using the reference variable of the object we can access the methods of this class. So I have to create the object of this class. Okay, so how to create the object? I'll write the class name. Guys, if you don't understand how to create the object, then you will not understand this particular session. So you need to go back and watch my video on class and objects part 2 and understand how to create the object. Only then you will understand this session. If you understood that session, then it's very nice. Okay, so to create the object, I'll just write the class name and I'll just use any variable name. Now this will be a reference variable of the object, okay, which is of the return type demo type. So this is the class name, and let's say demo is my instance of the object or reference variable of the object. Okay, and I'll use the new keyword, and I'll again write my class name, and I'll put opening and closing parenthesis. So this line of code has created the object inside the Java memory. Okay, now this object is of what type? This object is of class return type demo. Oh, I just spelled it incorrectly, so sorry about that. But it should have been return type demo, but that's fine. Okay, so I'll use this reference variable here. And why we are using the reference variable? In order to access this method. Okay, if you want to access this method, we will use the reference variable of the object. And see, the moment you wrote dot here, it gave you the option. Okay, and my method should be there here. So see, you can see my method, this one. Yes, it's there, and it is returning int type value. Can you see here? If you see here, this is inside the class return type demo, and it is returning int type value. Now whenever you see such information, you can either save this inside the int variable. Okay, so whatever value this method is returning can be saved inside the variable which is of the int type. Now depending upon the type this method is returning, we have to declare that variable according to that. Okay, so since this method is declaring int type variable, I will say int var, any variable name. Okay, and then what I will do, I'll just display that on the console, and to display on the console I need to use system.out.println statement, and I have to execute this code inside main method only. Okay, so let's run and see if I'm getting the value as 30. Okay, so see, my value is 30. Okay, so when I called this method, this one, it already had the return value as 30. Okay, which was of int type. So that's the reason I got my value displayed as 30. Now let's use another example. Say if I want to return a Boolean value. So say now this time I want my method to return a Boolean value. So I'll use the return type as Boolean, and I will give my method name as disp2. Okay, and I'll give the method body inside the curly braces. Okay, so let's write the method body. So it can be so see, again it is giving me the error. What it is saying, this method must return a result of type Boolean. So it's asking me to add a return statement. So if I'm mentioning the return type before the method name, then I have to use the keyword return, because while mentioning the return type, I'm asking the method to return a value. So it's a syntax to use a return keyword if I want a method to return a value, and a method will return only a single value, not multiple values at a time. Okay, so let me just write the block of statement. I'll say int x equals to say 5, and I'll say x is greater than 3, and these are the logical operators, and I'll say x is lesser than say 10. Okay, so these are the logical operators, and if you didn't understand what are the logical operators, please watch my video on operators in core Java. Then you will understand. And these are the comparison operators, these greater than and lesser than signs. Okay, so all right, so let me just save this the result of this inside a Boolean variable, because this line of code is going to return me the Boolean value. And what will be the my answer to this? My x value is 5, right? So is x greater than 3? That means 5 greater than 3? Yes. So this condition is met, it is true. And is x lesser than 10? Yes, this is also true. So my answer, both of the conditions are true. So my answer would be in true. So let me just save this in, say val equals to. So see, the error has gone. Okay, so my whatever is my value which is true will be saved in this val variable of Boolean type. Okay, so I want my method to return this value. So I'll say return val. Okay, see, now the error has gone. And the moment, can you see the highlighted section? Okay, see, the moment I write return val, also my return type got highlighted. Both of them are highlighted together. Means they are linked together. They are related to each other. Okay, so let me just run this inside the main method. So now this time I'm not going to save the value of the method inside any variable. Instead, I'll directly write inside the println statement, and I'll just use the reference variable of the object. So demo, okay, and dot. The moment you type dot, it gave you the options of different methods inside this class. Okay, so I have this disk2 here, which is returning the Boolean type of value, and it's there in return type demo. Okay, so let's run this. So this time, see guys, don't get confused. I'm not saving the value returned by the method inside the variable and then showing it on the console. You can also directly write this demo.disk2 in println statement. So it's one and the same. Either you can write this way or this way. Okay, so let's run this. So this time my value should be 30 and true. See, my output is 30 and true. Okay, so now let's take another example. So let me just write it properly. Okay, so this time I will use, say, public, say double disp3. See, when you're writing the method, please do not use the semicolon. You have to write the curly braces because you have to write the method body. Okay, so I'll just directly write return 11.4. Okay, so see, this method disp3 will be returning me the value as 11.4, and after I have to call this method inside the main method. Okay, so I'll just say system, you just need to write syso and control space, and you'll get the entire command. So I'll again use the reference variable which is the instance of the object. Okay, so dot, and it is giving me the option disp3 method, which is returning double return type, and it's there in the class return type demo. So what should be my output here? 30 true, and for this it should be 11.4. So let's run this and check. So see, my output is 30 true, 11.4. Now in the similar way, we can use char, and we can return the char variable. Okay, and now let me tell you that it can also return the object. Okay, so for that, let me just write the code first. If I have the method name disp4, this is my method body. Sorry guys. Okay, now if I want my method to return the object of this class, say employee class that we just created yesterday. Okay, so to create the to return the object of the employee class, remember I told you how to create the object. We first write the class name, then the reference variable, and then new employee. Okay, so this line of code will create the object inside the Java memory. Okay, so that means Java memory will be allocated to the object of employee class, and the emp reference variable is the address to that object. Okay, so this I want to be returned. So what I'll do, I'll just copy this from here, new employee, and I'll paste it over here. You could have typed also. Okay, now I'll use the keyword return. Okay, so this will return me the object of employee class. Okay, now it's giving me the error. What it is saying? Return type for the method is missing. So I did not mention the return type. You will ask me what should be the return type for this. Now what this object is returning, it is returning the employee class, right? This object is the instance of employee class. Okay, so it will return me the object of the class type employee. So I have to write employee here. Okay, so inside the main method, what I'll do, I'll just call this method as well. So I'll just copy this and paste it over here, and this time my method name is disp4. So I'm using the reference variable demo, and I'm calling this method disp4. Now this method disp4 will be returning me the object of employee class. So let's run this and check what's the result. So see, I got my output as 30 true 11.4 Java basics dot employee add and some value. So see here, this employee add, this value means that the object, this is from here till here, it's telling you that the object is stored in this memory location. Okay, so this is nothing but the location of the memory, the address of the memory. Okay, and this is the employee class, and it's this class is inside the Java basics. So this is the way you are getting the output. But what's the purpose of the method returning the object, that we will see in later Java programs. Okay, for now just understand that even a method can even return the object. Okay, and this is how you have to mention the return type as the class name. Okay, now very commonly used return type is void. Now let me just show you that chart. Can you see this return type void? This is the keyword, and what does it mean? So when you use this return type void, that means it is not going to return any value. The method will not be returning any value, although it will be the code inside the method will be executed, but it will not be returning any value. Okay, it will not be giving us back any value. Okay, so let's say I'm creating a method with void as the return type, and I'll say disp 5. Okay, and I'll say double 10 point, say 10.5. I'm just writing, let me just first declare the variable. So double, say var 1 equals 10.5, and I'll say double var 2 equals say 9.12. Okay, and that's it. So now since I used the return type as void, it did not show me the error, even though I did not use the return as the keyword, because my return type is void. So what Java understand is that if a method is mentioned with return type void, I'm telling the method not to return any value. So if method is not returning any value, I will not have to use the keyword return. And that is the reason it didn't give me the error this time and asked me to use the return as the keyword. Okay, so let me just complete this code inside the method and say system.out.println var 1 plus var 2. So what this will do, this will add these two values, double values, okay, 10.5 and 9.12. So this 5, although is not returning any value, but it will, like the moment I'll call this method disp5, it will execute all these statements, okay, but it will not return any value. Okay, so let's see if this is working or not. So inside my main method, I just mentioned system.out.println demo.disp5. So see, this here my return type is void, and it's not returning any value. So but it will definitely display me the result. Okay, so let me just show you this. Okay, let me just remove this. Okay, and let me just save this inside another variable. Say var3 equals var1 plus var2, and if I use the keyword return var3, it is giving me the error. Okay, and what it is saying, it's saying void methods cannot return a value. Okay, so because I have used a keyword void, my method will not be returning any value. So I need not use this keyword return. But then I cannot just write var3 like this. So I have to print this value inside the system.out.println statement. So I'm doing nothing. Okay. What I'll do is I'll just put one println statement here to display this value, because this is not going to return the value, so I have to use this. Okay, now it should be displaying me the var3 value, which will be adding 10.5 and 9.12. So it will just be, when I'm calling this method dis5, it will just be, the compiler will just be going through each of these codes and display the value, since I have used the println statement or method. But in this 5 method, I'm not storing any value, it's empty. Okay, so let me just call this method and check what's the output. Now here, since I have used system.out.println, here I can directly call this method using the reference variable. Okay, so let's run this. Okay, so here we go. Can you see this last output? It is 19.61999 because it's adding this value. Okay, so let me just make this 0.0. Okay, now let me just run this and see, now this time it's 19.5. Okay, so this is the output of this 5 method, and 30 for the first method, which is disp1, true for the second method, 11.4 for the third method, and Java basics .employ for the disp4 method, and 19.5 for the disp5 method. Okay, now if we come to the main method, can you see void written over here? Now we just studied what is void. It is a return type, which is, if you are mentioning void as a return type for any method, a method is not going to give back any value or return any value. It's just going to execute the code written inside the method. So main is also a bigger method, you can say, but this is only important for JVM or Java compiler to understand or to get into. Alright, now we learned about access modifier, we learned about return type, we learned about main method, and we are left with static SC variable. Okay, and then we will understand what is this argument inside the main method. So guys, we need to go step by step, and then only we will understand, and we will be able to write complex program. And you need to watch my videos from the beginning, then only you'll understand the future videos. videos. Okay, so please subscribe to my channel and give your feedback in the comments text box, or you can also ask the queries if you have any. I'll answer to them. And with this, I'll just end with the session, and you have a great day. See you then in the next video. Goodbye. Take care.